Ever catch yourself saying, what if, and dreaming up some new gadget or invention?
Yeah, all the time, actually.
Well, product development engineering drafters, they take those what ifs and turn them into the detailed blueprints that make manufacturing possible.
Oh, that's cool, turning those rough ideas into reality.
That's exactly what they do, bringing ideas to life.
Yeah,
It's a pretty awesome blend of creativity and technical skills, wouldn't you say?
for sure. You're not just drawing lines, you're solving design problems, figuring out how to make things functional, and then communicating all of that visually.
And when we talk about the technical side, the software has got to be crucial, right?
Absolutely. CAD software is like their best friend, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, things like that.
Makes sense. I bet certifications in those programs are important too.
Totally. Getting certified like a CSWA or Autodesk certified user shows employers you've got the skills to pay the bills.
So it's more than just being good with computers, it's knowing how to use those specific tools that the industry relies on.
Exactly. It's like you wouldn't show up to a construction site with just a screwdriver, right? You got to have the right tools for the job.
Now I'm really curious about what a typical day looks like for a product development engineering drafter.
It's way more collaborative than people might think.
Really? I kind of pictured them hunched over a computer all day.
Nope. Remember that RoleCatcher research we were looking at? They're always interacting with engineers, designers, even the manufacturing teams, making sure everyone is on the same page.
So communication is key here, not just technical skills.
Absolutely. You've got to be able to explain your design choices clearly, handle feedback effectively, and work well within a team.
Which is interesting because when I was looking at those interview questions for these roles, so many of them focused on those soft skills.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, tell me about a time you had to work with a difficult teammate, or how do you handle conflicting feedback on a design?
They want to know you can not only do the technical work, but also thrive in a fast-paced, collaborative environment.
It's a team effort to get those products from concept to reality.
So we've talked about what these drafters do day to day, but what about the big picture? How's the industry doing as a whole?
It's booming, but it's also changing constantly. New tech, new software.
Yeah, that's true for a lot of fields these days. Keeps things interesting, but I bet it's a lot to keep up with.
Definitely. It's not like you learn it once and you're set, you know? That's something RoleCatcher really emphasized.
What's that?
Just the importance of continuous learning. You've got to stay ahead of the curve, learn the new programs, understand new materials, even how manufacturing is changing.
So adaptability is key. Always be ready to learn something new.
Exactly. And that's actually something to play up in interviews, that you're passionate about a field and excited to keep growing your skills. Employers love to see that.
Makes sense. It shows you're serious about it.
Mhm.
Now, on a practical level, are there a lot of product development engineering drafter jobs out there?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely demand. Companies are always going to need skilled drafters, right? To help them make new stuff, innovate. But, and this is important to remember, it can be pretty competitive, especially for those entry-level roles.
So it's not exactly a cakewalk.
You could say that. It takes dedication, hard work, or real passion for this kind of work. But if you've got that, there's some really cool projects out there.
All right, so for aspiring drafters, how can they stand out in that competitive landscape? Besides, obviously, having the skills, anything else employers really look for?
You know what often gets overlooked? Specialization.
Specialization.
Yeah, think of it this way. Would you rather go to a general doctor for a heart problem or a cardiologist?
A cardiologist for fun.
Exactly. And it's the same idea here. Instead of being a generalist, becoming an expert in a specific industry like aerospace, automotive, or medical devices, having that niche expertise that make you really valuable.
Find your niche. Become the go-to drafter for a particular thing. I like it. Makes you more competitive. Okay, so this career path, it's got potential, but what about growth? How does someone move up from, say, an entry-level drafter to a more senior role?
That's the good news. The career progression, it's pretty well defined.
Mhm.
And RoleCatcher, they actually do a great job of laying out those different stages of responsibilities at each level.
Okay, so break it down for us. Let's say you're just starting out, fresh out of school, maybe some internships. What's that entry-level role really like?
Entry level, it's all about learning the ropes. You'll be assisting the more senior drafters, getting really comfortable with the software, and doing those more basic drafting tasks. It's your chance to put what you learned in school into practice.
So you're like the apprentice soaking it all up.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so you've paid your dues, you've got the basics down. What's next?
Well, as you get more experience, more confidence, you'll naturally move into a mid-level drafting role.
Yeah.
This is where you start taking on more responsibility, maybe leading smaller projects, getting involved in things like cost analysis, maybe even mentoring some of those newer drafters coming in.
All right, so you've put in the work, learned the ropes, you're ready to land that dream job as a product development engineering drafter.
Time to nail that interview.
Exactly. And luckily for us, our friends over at RoleCatcher gave us a ton of intel on what to expect.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They even had that whole section on interview prep with sample questions and everything.
Super helpful. So what really stood out to you in those questions? Anything particularly revealing?
Well, a lot of them really go beyond just the technical stuff, like one that stuck with me was, can you describe a time you had to troubleshoot a design problem?
Oh, interesting. So they want to hear about your process.
Exactly. It's about how you think under pressure, how you get creative when things don't go to plan, which, let's be honest,
Happens all the time.
all the time.
Hmm?
No design is ever perfect right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I thought was interesting was, how do you stay up to date with industry trends?
Shows you're in it for the long haul, not just content with what you already know.
Exactly. Got to keep learning, keep those skills sharp. That's the mark of someone who's serious about building a career, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And, speaking of investing in yourself, RoleCatcher, they even have those cool AI-powered tools for interview practice now.
Oh, no way. What's that?
Yeah, you can record yourself answering questions, get feedback on how you're doing. It's like having your own personal coach in your pocket.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really goes to show how tech is changing everything, even how we prepare for these opportunities.
For sure. So we've covered a ton of ground here. What it takes to be a product development engineering drafter, what the industry looks like, how to ace those interviews.
A lot to digest.
It is. But before you dive into all those awesome RoleCatcher resources yourself, here's something I want you to think about. What kind of products really spark your interest? What gets your own creative gears turning?
Ooh, good question.
Because finding that niche within product development, whether it's eco-friendly furniture, the latest medical tech, or even the next generation of smartphones, that passion, that could be your ticket to a career you truly love.
Couldn't agree more. Find what you love, and the rest will follow.